If you know your bar chords well, but you feel like you just don't know what else you can use for your rhythm playing, today I'm going to show you something that you can combine with your bar chords to make playing chord progressions so much more interesting. Before we get started though, my name is Ross Campbell from bulletproofguitarplayer.com. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and if you get to the end of this video and feel like you learned something new, please click subscribe for more. Triads are what we're going to be learning today, specifically first inversion triads, which are used by the likes of Jimi Hendrix, John Frusciante and John Mayer, to name a few. The etude that you heard me play right at the start of the video, that was something I wrote that was very much inspired by the opening to Bold as Love by Jimi Hendrix. The first 4 chords to that song, if you were to play them half a step up from the original and in standard tuning, would be A major to E major to F sharp minor to D major. So for this etude, I took those same 4 chords, I changed up the rhythm and tempo a bit, and I embellished them in different ways each time that I went around the progression. And one of the things that I used to embellish them with was triads. For example, on the first A major chord, I didn't just play an A major bar chord, I played this. In this video, I want to focus solely on the first 4 bars of the etude to show you guys how I've incorporated first inversion major triads to make those 4 chords sound a bit more interesting than they would sound if I just played them as regular bar chords. So with that in mind, let's listen to a comparison of me playing the first 4 chords to the etude just as regular bar chords, and then after that I'll play the first 4 bars of the etude as I did in the intro, embellishing those chords with some first inversion major triads and some other stuff as well. So here we go. I'm sure you'll agree that the second time around sounded way more interesting and much more creative. So let's look at what I played specifically in the first bar over the A major chord. So I start out with an A major bar chord, sort of. I mean, I'm fretting this Jimi Hendrix style, meaning I've got my thumb fretting the root note on the low E string and I am omitting the 5th of the bar chord, which would be at fret 7 on the A string. I'm leaving that note out, and so I'm left with this. But you can choose to play just a normal A major bar chord shape if you would prefer. It doesn't really matter too much. And from there I slide up a couple of frets and play this. Now I want you to forget about this note that I hammer onto at fret 9 on the A string. Forget about that note for now and just focus solely on the shape that I'm sliding into. That is what's known as a first inversion major triad, which, if you don't have any knowledge of fundamental music theory, will probably just sound like a bunch of meaningless jargon to you. But I promise you it's not that complicated, and I'm going to do my best to explain it to you now so that in a minute or two you will understand what this is and how to use it in your rhythm playing. So a triad is a 3-note chord, and major and minor chords in their most basic form only have 3 notes: a root, a third and a 5th. For example, an A major triad would contain the notes A, C sharp and E. A, of course, would be the root note, C sharp would be the third, and E would be the 5th, because those 2 notes are the 3rd and 5th scale degrees of A major, respectively. For any triad, you can play 3 different inversions, and an inversion is simply the order of those 3 notes, the root, the third, and the fifth, from low to high. The names given to those 3 inversions are root position, first inversion, and second inversion. So let's look at the 3 inversions of an A major triad, starting with the root position. The root position would have the root note in the bass, the third in the middle, and the fifth on top. Root, third, fifth. The first inversion would have the third in the bass, the fifth in the middle, and the root note on top. Third, fifth, root. And the second inversion would have the fifth in the bass, the root in the middle, and the third on top. Fifth, root, third. So those were A major triads played on the 4th string set, and just so you guys know what string set means in this context, it's a group of 3 strings that sit next to each other that we're choosing to play the triads on, because if you want to hear all of the notes of the triad at once, of course you need 3 strings to do that. So the 4th string set is the low E, A, and D, third would be A, D, G, so on and so forth. That was a brief explanation of what triads are, and if you want to learn more about how to use them in your rhythm and lead playing, as well as learn what you need to know in order to progress from an intermediate to an advanced level of guitar playing, you can check out my website, bulletproofguitarplayer.com. It's linked in the description box below. Subscribing to the site gives you full access to all site content, including parts 1 and 2 of my Bulletproof Guitar Player courses, which are a combined 8+ hour long guide to the fundamentals of music theory applied to the guitar. And you also get access to the extras section of the site, which I treat like a Patreon page. So there you will find bonus materials based on my free YouTube lessons. So you'll get access to things like tab files, backing tracks, breakdowns of solos that I play in my videos, as well as bonus exercises. For example, for this particular video, I have created a full breakdown of the intro etude with downloadable tab files for you to study, and I've also created some bonus exercises for combining triads with bar chords in your rhythm playing. If you're interested in learning more, all of the relevant links are in the description box. So to recap, we've just gone over the 3 different major triad inversions, and it's the first inversion triad that is going to appear prominently throughout this etude. So going back to the first bar over the A major chord, as I said, I start out with this sort of Hendrix bar chord, and I slide up into a first inversion A major triad. And now you have an understanding of what this actually is. So again, the first inversion triad has the third in the bass, the fifth in the middle, and the root note on top. And when I play that, I add in this hammer-on to fret 9 on the A string. Now that note is F sharp, and of course it's not part of the A major triad because it only has 3 notes, A, C sharp, and E. But this F sharp is the 6th of A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it does work when you add it in. And that particular hammer-on is something that I will do with first inversion major triads on the 3rd and 4th string sets all the time because it is just so comfortable to play. First inversion major triads on those 2 string sets are a very comfortable shape for guitar players in particular, and they make it, you know, so easy to add in that 6th hammer-on with ease. Moving on to the next bar with the E major chord. I start out with a basic open E chord, and then I slide into a first inversion E major triad. But But you'll notice that I play it differently to how I played the same triad for the A major chord. So for the A major chord, I was kind of barring the notes and letting them ring out into each other. Of course, with that hammer-on added in as well. For the E major triad, I'm not barring the notes, I'm not allowing them to ring out into each other. I'm more just outlining the notes of that E major first inversion triad. So I do this. Again with another hammer on, this time to the 6th of the E major chord. Moving on to the F sharp minor chord. Obviously this is a minor chord, so I'm not playing any major triads here, but what I am doing to embellish it is I am barring the 2nd fret and adding in some hammer-ons and pull-offs on the 4th fret on the G, D and A strings, like so. And for those of you wondering, what I'm visualizing here is really position 1 of the F sharp minor pentatonic scale. We are in the key of A major, and F sharp would be the relative minor of that key, so all of those notes in that F sharp minor pentatonic scale also belong to A major. Lastly, we have the D major chord, and this is what I play for it. So I start out with a D major bar chord shape with the root note on the 5th string. And then I slide up into a first inversion D major triad, like so. And as you can see, I'm adding in some nice hammer-ons and pull-offs. So we've got 3 first inversion major triads in the first 4 bars of this etude, and I'm playing each of them in slightly different ways, right? So this is what I played for the A major one, to recap. This is what I played for the E major. More just sort of outlining notes of the triad rather than playing them all at the same time. You just heard what I did for the D major chord, but let's hear it once again. And I'm pointing this out to you guys because I want you to understand that combining these triad shapes with your bar chords opens up so many new doors for creativity when it comes to your rhythm playing. And that about does it. Those were the first 4 bars of the etude. I would encourage you to practice them at home to get used to the motion of sliding into those triad shapes, especially if you're brand new to triads. It will take a bit of getting used to at first, but just persevere and take things slowly to begin with. And if you want to learn the entire etude in full with a breakdown and downloadable tab files, as well as bonus exercises for combining bar chords with triad shapes, you can get all of that by subscribing to bulletproofguitarplayer.com. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click subscribe for more in the future. Also, let me know if there are any particular topics that you would like me to cover on this channel in the future.